I would love to understand a little better if you can kind of share your insights on the connection between music and language. Like why music is such a powerful tool for learning new languages. Like what is it? Is it simply the songs that we keep repeating them, or is there something in our brain that somehow musically we get to learn foreign languages faster?
It's funny you say that because I was recently reading about an article in Neuroscience about how music affects the brain. And it's completely different to anything else we do. Whenever you play music or hear music or sing, your brain fires in different places. Is not only what we normally use for speaking. Uh, so yes, music, it's going to make your brain happy. And because of that, I find that it is another language too. I find, even though some people say, well, music is universally understandable, yes and no. But if you think about it, you play music for a parakeet, and the parakeet's going to start, moving back and forth, and it's going to start enjoying it. Same thing with any animals. Or if you're playing, you might try to speak with somebody from the other end of the world, and they're not going to understand you. But maybe you start playing the piano, they're going to sit and listen. And they might not understand exactly what you're trying to say, but they might feel that you're doing, you're trying to be friendly. So the opposite happens if you try to play something, I don't know, on the deep end. If you play dramatic music. When my baby was born, I used to put him in the carriage right beside my piano, and I would, if I play something too melancholic, he start like, oh, I start crying immediately. It would be like, okay, 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 I'm playing something happy. But I was always so amazed at the power of music as a communication tool. And in fact, have you ever tried to watch have you ever watched a movie without any soundtrack? It feels kind of, first of all, it slows down. And if it's like, okay, there's something missing. And funny enough, when you compose a soundtrack, that's a lot of work. Yet, you're not supposed to listen to the soundtrack. The soundtrack is supposed to take you into the movie and bring you to the action. If you're listening to the sound and you're like da 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 da, you're not really paying attention to the movie. So, as a language, music is very important. First of all, because it changes the way we perceive things, and then it helps you communicate.
Spanish is also a very musical type of language. I mean, when you just listen, I don't speak Spanish, but I love listening to Spanish. Spanish and Italian are two languages. I might not understand a word that's being said, but I love just listening to the language. And it's almost, you can see where music would fit nicely into it. And there's also a lot of operas were written in Italian because I don't know. I just think because it's such a musical language, but you would have different music for like Chinese or for Russian or Spanish or English. You would have different music for it. But
Mhm.
also if you go back in history, I mean, there's always been music. If you think of the native Indians or
Yep,
the Africans in Africa, you had the drumming to get the warriors hyped up to
exactly.
go and on the hunt or whatever it is, or you have the drumming in with shamanics to
The
you know
Maori, have you ever seen the Maori in their they do this, how do you call it? It's like a
Is Hakka,
cry.
like in New Zealand, the Hakka
Yeah,
when
in New
they do.
Zealand, and it's so powerful, and it's essentially rhythm. it's music too. And they do it rhythmically, and they follow a certain, and it's so powerful. You see it, you get scared. But
Well,
it's so,
they do that in rugby matches, and
exactly, that's the
it's
one I'm talking.
we're coming for you. We're gonna. I mean, why do you think the Kiwis are like the best rugby players? Because
Yeah.
I think they just scare everybody else away. But it is you have we've had music for centuries,
Mhm.
and even singing like lullabies to for children and nursery rhymes, and then you have your drumming to go on the hunt, or you have your in and anything in between. So music has always been something that it is there, and it's like you were saying also with having that background music in the soundtrack in movies. You
Mhm.
can also you hummed a song, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's familiar. But you might explain what a movie is, and it's like, I've never seen that. You hum the soundtrack. I'm like,
Exactly.
oh
Yeah.
yes, I know that movie.
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly.
music is almost a way that we can connect emotionally, as
Mhm.
and not so much with the brain, but more with our emotions, because
Mhm.
I think you feel the music. I mean, you spoke about big bands, and I love big bands, and you get those drums and the horns in, and it's like, okay, something's happening here. It's getting really exciting. It's coming on, and then it quietens down, and you can have sounds of horses or all sorts in there. And it's such an emotional
Mhm.
feeling that you go on. And if it's a really good big band, even a roller coaster, up and down, and they take you through all the emotions. But words can't do that for you. You can describe something and you can visualize it while somebody's talking, but if you have that music, you can feel it.
Well, but like that's, for example, the essence of poetry. There's music in poetry too. When you write, that's one other thing I'm doing. I'm writing. When you write poetry, when you have metric, you are essentially creating a rhythm, and this rhythm, when you say the words, this rhythm goes to your brain and you start feeling the music. And that's why poetry is so attractive and so beautiful. If you listen to Shakespeare sonnets, they're completely musical. You could just add music to it. um, I have I'm not very good at rhyming doing poetry, but I like playing with the rhythm when I'm doing poetry. And it's very interesting how you can, without rhyming, you can create movement in the language. And also, when we speak, we don't just stay in one note and talk all the time like this, like robots do. We're creating a music. Each language has its own music. Like for example, if you speak Italian, Italians tend to do this. you know, if you, for example, go to Argentina, the Argentinians, they're going to talk with this song all the time. Or the Mexicans, whenever they talk, everything goes up. And they're going to say, did you like that? Say, for example, oh, because I went to the supermarket. And then when I went to the supermarket, I bought some meat. and, and that's part of, for example, accents. So there's music everywhere. And the thing that we need, what that we understand, not that we need to, we do understand that, is that music is intrinsic to the human being. I have never ever met a person who doesn't like music. Never. They might not like salsa, they might like classical music, they might like jazz, they might like, I don't know, you know, Indian music or Chinese music. But people always like some kind of music. People are always going to hum things. It's something that our brain needs to do, something that our brain feels comfortable doing, music. So it's, if you think about it, language also. is music. It stems from that. I think language came out of music. Maybe I'm like here, getting creative about it. Maybe I'm not saying the right things, but language, music, and human beings are intrinsically related.